what interests you in having a portrait painted?
Portrait painting. That is something I have never done before. You see those artists when you go to central London. So I ask myself, "Oh, how is it like, right? So just a bit of curiosity.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you like, are you a person who has like photographs in your house of yourself?
Oh, I photograph a lot for social media because
Uh-huh.
obviously we've learned that visibility creates opportunities. So when I do that, people think, "Oh, she loves taking pictures." Actually, but I'm doing work actually. Right. Recently, I had a holiday in Malaysia, and guess what? I have no amazing picture, because I was really in it, enjoying myself. So I wasn't working. Yeah. How about you?
No, that's no, I actually we have no photographs in the house.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Oh wow.
that's why I like the paintings, because now when I paint portraits,
Mm.
I do notice that like I can spend like hours looking at a
Mm.
portrait.
Mm.
So I made one self-portrait, and I made a portrait of my wife and one of my son,
Wow.
and it's just, for me, a painting evokes something different than a photograph,
Yes,
um,
sure.
because it isn't like the realistic representation. You see that it's that person,
Mm.
but because
Mm.
um, it's not as detailed
Mm-hmm.
as a photograph, you
Mm.
actually I actually see the energy more than
Yeah.
of the people than in a
Mm-hmm.
photograph,
Mm.
like what's behind their physical appearance. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can it's, for me, it's really calming to actually look at a painting for a
Hmm.
longer time.
It
So
is. Now that you're telling me, I remember my mother used to do drawings and paintings a lot. So we had lots of pictures of her own. And I remember he drew my father. And yeah, I remember that.
do you
You're
still have
right.
that? Do you still have that drawing of your
Uh,
father?
oh, they have it in Korea. So I don't have it.
Uh,
But I clearly remember how it looks like.
they're still alive?
Yes, they are.
Ah, that's nice. That's nice. And maybe one day you will inherit the drawing.
That would
That's
be
a
amazing.
that's a
Good idea. I should
beautiful.
reserve it before my brother and sister.
Or ask your mom to make one for every sibling. Then everybody can have a drawing.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah, because it's such a because it's like the viewpoint of your mother of your
Mm.
father. So it's even though it's a portrait of your father, both your mother and
Mm.
your father are in the portrait.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. And yeah, I'm just exploring this.
Mm-hmm.
So because for me, what I find beautiful about art is that it's just an opportunity to actually look at something without a goal necessary, or putting a judgment on
Mm-hmm.
it,
Mm.
or having like a fit plan, like this is how it has to be, this is how we're going to structure it efficiently.
Mm.
I think that's the freeing part of art. So this is
Mm-hmm.
also with this lead up to the portrait, it's not like coaching or anything like that. It's more of creating a moment together
Mm.
where you know we're just being and looking at you, basically.
Mm.
um,
Mm.
and s are you afraid of being seen?
That's a good question. I am not afraid of being seen, but I'm probably afraid of being seen so closely.
Mm. So
Yeah.
you have no problem going up on a stage?
No, not at all. I enjoy it.
That's nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it's then a lot of people find going on a stage more
Mm.
frightening than actually dying.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's nice. And what do you enjoy about being on stage?
I think it has to do with my ADHD. And okay, to begin with, I did a lot of public speaking when I was missionary. I
Yeah.
traveled to 23 countries. And I remember, yeah, of course, at the beginning, I had a lot of fear. But if you do it so many times, you just don't, you know how to, turn off and turn on the tap. And what I enjoy is um, I can use up those like intense energy that ADHD people have. They sometimes call it superpower, but communicating to people, big group of people, somehow energizes me. It's kind of you give energy all that you have, and but you receive also back.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's
How about
beautiful.
you?
Well, I'm not afraid to be on stage.
Mm.
So I used to be in bands quite a bit, and then I was a teacher.
Good.
Then you're also in front of the class.
Hmm.
Um,
Did you teach art?
no, I taught IT.
Oh, something different.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in many different things. So
Wow.
I both like art, but I also really like science and analytical thinking, and
Wow, multi-talent.
yeah, I like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's why, I also like history, and
Mm.
I like studying old artists, and I like
Mm.
the more the concept they had in the Renaissance, that science and art and
Mm.
business weren't like separate fields, but they
Mm.
were had way more overlap.
Mm.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's a disservice if you try to separate them too much. And I think it's beautiful that there's more and more artists and organizations trying to also bring art and science more back together
Mm.
again, doing very
Mm.
interesting projects. So yeah,
Mm.
I like that movement.
Amazing. Well, come to think of it, I completely forgot, but I studied history of art in Germany. So in
Wow.
Germany, you have either two majors or one major and two minors. So my major was music, but the second was history of art. Come to think of it. And
Wow.
third was education. However, yes, I completely understand what you mean. So art embraces so many different parts of life and everything, really, nature and everything. So you can always find connection, can't you?
And do you still play an instrument?
That's a good question. I don't.
Oh,
Sad, right? I don't.
what's your instrument?
I've studied harpsichord, the
Oh,
Baroque one in Berlin Conservatory.
wow.
And of course, I studied some other things. And, well, I studied that as instrument, but I also studied music theory. So, but I guess I wasn't that gifted in playing instrument. I loved it, but yeah. So that was part of my life, a very intense part of my life.
Do you feel that your experience with the harpsichord, so basically your artistic side of your life, has that, or does it still influence your business side? Because
Hmm.
you're a consultant, right?
Yes,
Focusing on
consulting.
tax for entrepreneurs.
Yes, we are accountants and business coaches. I feel that well, that is really good actually that I'm talking to you because these are the things that I have totally completely forgotten about. That I used to be a musician and I used to study arts and stuff. No, it's completely buried to be honest. Busy making money. I admire people who stay on their lane with their passion. And first time I came to London, the first thing I've done was to going to National Gallery, knowing that there is this sunflower painting from Van Gogh, because I was studying Van Gogh very intensively in seminar. So my friends wanted to go shopping, so I said, no, I have no time for this. So I went to National Gallery. I went there and there were big crowds and I just pushed them. I was standing there and tears were falling down. Tears were falling down. That moment, how brightly the painting was shining. But what I felt was really Van Gogh, pure Van Gogh. And knowing what he has been through, but he has been through so much, but he was able to create such beautiful, beautiful painting. Filtered through all the pain. It made me cry. It was amazing.
Do Do you think you would feel the same with his paintings if you wouldn't know his story?
He might not have. I might have thought, what a beautiful painting, but that would be it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I always find it an interesting question, like, should an artwork really, where does it begin and end, Is it just a static painting or sculpture? Or should it just be that, or do you need the text, or do you need the whole story of the artist? It's always there's no clear answer, of course. It's just, but it's always an interesting thing, like where, like some artworks, the whole story around it is really more the artwork than the thing itself. Sort of like
it is. Sometimes it is. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, for example, the banana duct tape to the wall, for example. I mean, it's all about the story and the concept. The actual banana is just a banana. It's
You're right. People can make up a lot of things. Too much hot air around a piece of art. Yeah.
And do you don't even have a harpsichord now at home?
Harpsichord I don't have. I have piano. I used to have one a long time ago. I miss it sometimes. You're right. And yeah.
You can afford one right now.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be nice. Like if you have even if you play it for 2 minutes per day, you still have the harpsichord in your life.
I have to find time and space to get back to that self. I was always wearing like long hair, all curled up perfectly, and like old people like Baroque days, look, and then go to gallery and these kind of things. I have that part of me has been totally buried.
Wow. But you can start like super small, like even if you just play the harpsichord like 2 minutes a day. Like often people make it so black and white, sort of like, oh, if I have to get back, then I have to take lessons and practice 3 hours a day. No, you can just put it in your house and just play it 2 minutes a day if you want.
You're right. I have piano. I look at it every day, obviously, in my living room, and I wish I could play. Oh, I wish I could play. Oh, it has been like that. But it is interesting what can be revealed through a conversation, isn't it, Oscar? Because these are kind of things that I've really forgotten about.
Wow.
Oh, not forgotten, but try to ignore, I guess.
Yeah, it's I'm happy that you're rediscovering this one. And so you're specifically in love with the Baroque area.
Baroque area. In paintings, for whatever reason, I loved like old paintings, Renaissance, and even before. And after I visited some seminars, I learned these things, and it was making so much more sense. And you have to sort of learn how to read those. Okay, maybe it is too much into theory, but you somehow learn how to read into the painting, right? For example, there is portrait, and those days the background were put in certain ways, and those little details about even a dog, they put in everything. It was placed on purpose, right? If you do not know about all that, then you just look at someone's face, oh, beautiful, and you walk away. But if you learn all these things, the layers of backgrounds and things like that, and what is all related to Christian history and things like that, this suddenly makes so much fun, because each time you look at the same painting, look at it next time, look at it again, then you find something different, don't you?
That's and you said before you were a missionary, right? Was
Yes,
that
that too.
a Christian missionary?
Yeah.
And is there, you said like you like the also the history of Christian art. So is there
Mm.
what's the relationship between your faith
Yes.
and your interest in art?
Yes, it's a very good question. That takes me back to my childhood, my teenage years. At that time, I was Catholic, so I always, every single day, I would go to church, mornings and evenings. I played organ for the mass, and I was really into that, you know. And one day, my father visited European countries. He came back and he gave me. So he asked me, "What would you like to have?" You know, as gift when I come back. And I said, "Can you bring me some of those painting postcards?" And when he came back, he brought me really this much of
Right.
postcards. I'm very grateful. Everything I have forgotten about, and most of them were whatever reason, for whatever reason, old paintings. Maybe it was his taste. I don't know, but Christian faith related old. You know where you see those altars, like golden altars as a background and things like that. Yeah, Maria and Jesus kind of thing. I was so fascinated. I was so fascinated. Maybe that it was the starting point.
Hmm.
How
And
about
you,
you? What is
oh,
your yeah? How did your journey begin?
my life journey, my art
No,
journey.
with art journey.
When I was very like I think from the first memories I have, I wanted to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always painting and I've and doing dance and
Mm.
sculpture. I always loved art. I was very
Mm.
serious about it. Um, and I always wanted to be an artist, but
Mm.
I grew up in this environment. I think a lot of artists do, where your environment is telling you, yeah, art is nice, but you can't make a living
Mm.
actually
Yeah.
making art.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I always just kept drawing and making
Mm.
music and all these things, but I never really seriously pursued that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then for a while, I went more into meditation. I
Mm.
wanted to be a meditation teacher, so I was also a lot in Thailand.
Mm.
Um,
Oh
and
wow.
and then I went back to Holland, found a different form of Buddhism that's more not more introspective, but more outgoing,
Mm.
you could say. And met my wife. She changed my life, and yeah, then actually she inspired me. Like, hey, you can be an artist. And then I
Mm-hmm.
was like trying to figure out: do I want to be a filmmaker? Do I want to go to art school? And then I tried to go to art school, and I was making movies for a while. Tried to go to film school.
Wow. Movies.
Yeah, and then I started making movies for families.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I was starting to feel a little bit lonely because, as a entrepreneur, when your business is still starting, or at least mine, I was just spending a lot of time at home behind the laptop,
Mm.
and I was getting a little bit lonely.
Mm.
Um, and cash was running out, and I had to take care of
Oh.
I had to take care of my family.
Oh.
So then I went into teaching. So then I became an IT teacher,
Mm.
and then I always had projects on the side, doing improv
Mm.
comedy, making music,
Mm.
still making films, and but then at a certain point, I was like, hey. I became 40, and I was like, how long am I going to keep telling myself one day I'll
Mm.
really go for
Mm.
my dreams?
Mm.
But I was like, yeah, I've been saying that for like more than 20 years now, but
Mm.
I'm 40. Like
Mm.
how long am I going to keep saying this?
Mm.
So then I was like, okay, something needs to change. And then And then I started doing my art projects. And what was really awesome and liberating was, for the first time, I stopped thinking, like, can I make money doing this? So before, I would also, if I would do something, I might, adapt the taste a little bit. If I make music, I wouldn't make the music I wanted to make, but I thought that would be popular enough. And I stopped doing that kind of stuff and just really doing my art the way I wanted to do it. And the first things I did with that were just performances in the street. So the first one I did, there was this statue in the middle of Amsterdam, like a portrait of a famous writer, and it was a bronze statue, and I had like a fake chisel, and I just went up to that statue for like 2 hours or something. I was just pretending like I was a master sculptor, just chiseling away at that statue. And later that day, I went to, there's a fountain in Amsterdam, and I brought 2 fishing rods, and I went fishing in the fountain. And everybody was just looking, what is that? Is our fishing fountain? Is he crazy? What's going on? And yeah, just doing those 2 things, that day was such a release for me, that I was like, hey, I'm just really doing the stuff I want to do now. And like, even if it doesn't work out, even, it felt really good for me to have created what I wanted to create.
Yeah. You deserve one big applause.
Thank
knowing
you.
knowing how hard it is, because when I started started doing those mission trips, I knew that will bring lots of financial headache, and it was very painful, of course. And I remember a conversation when I was studying music. I was on the way back home. I was standing on the subway platform with another student, and he was very, very good. He was making tons of money. He was a clarinet player. So as a clarinet player, you get to have more opportunity to make money, obviously. But anyway, so he was a bit like this, and said, "Oh, so you study harpsichord. So what are your plans to make money?" he said. And I got like, I felt as if I was like smacked into face, because I never thought about it. It was just my passion, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, for you to make money, you have to do something different, like IT.
That's what he said.
No, I said to him. So I was clearly indicating that I'm not doing for money, right? So I just wish that there was enough support for artists and creative people, so that they can just go ahead and create things that they have to create that will inspire us. But unfortunately, there is this pressure, isn't it? Financial pressure. It's painful thing. But if you can say, this is what I want to do, I'm moving forward, that is a very brave and amazing, powerful thing.
I think so. But I think it's also important to be financially realistic as an artist, which mainly means 2 things for me. I would say, what has worked for me, I don't want to do the lukewarm thing anymore, sort of like, yes, I'm making music, but it's not the music I love. Or, I wouldn't want to be in a position sort of like, yeah, I'm making films. I really want to make just feature movies, but I can't, so I'm just making ads or corporate movies. That's sort of like lukewarm. You're not really an artist.
Yeah.
But you're sort of, I don't
compromising.
I don't like that. For what I found, for me, what is better would be then to just make your art pure. That's your passion.
Yeah.
Really try to make your money with that. But if you can't, then just find something else.
Yeah.
That makes your
that.
money, but then keep the passion alive. Keep doing it, because that's what gives you joy.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I also feel like a lot of artists, they just their mindset towards money and monetizing their art is also, I feel, a bit, there's a lot of weird ideas that a lot of artists have. And so I think artists can also be a little bit more creative, seeing if they can actually make the art that they're really passionate about, but actually taking marketing serious and marketing it in such a way that they can actually sell it. So
Yeah.
so I don't like, if you're an artist and you're just making art in your own bubble for yourself, and yeah, that it's really hard to live off that kind of art. Sort of like that comes with the territory, you know.
Yeah.
If you never really think about what value good does my art create for other people, then also don't be too surprised if they don't buy your art.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it is a hard thing. On the one hand, you want to be really true to yourself, and you want to be really authentic to yourself and create something that makes you joy. On the other hand, of course, you want to impact people and make them, help them to feel that beauty and value. You want to share it together with them, and doing both at the same time. Sometimes, I can imagine it could be.
It's
Not that easy.
Yeah, I don't think there's like a single answer, and it depends on the person. Like some, it's I think I read a very interesting, hopeful article the other day that actually apparently last year was the first year in a long time that actually the global art market was growing slightly. Although in the decade before it was becoming smaller, and even more positive was that actually most of the growth was not speculation of like classical art, but actually more mid-tier art. Just you're starting or artists, more art in the 10,000 euro range, that you wouldn't buy primarily for speculation. And also very interesting that it was a rise in young people buying art, and that these young people weren't mainly interested in digital art or AI art, but actually more physical art, like an actual painting or sculpture. So I found that very uplifting news. So I think that there should be possibilities for artists. And it sort of like connects to what we were saying, that that you feel that some old themes are resurfacing, what gave you so much joy when you were younger. So like when you asked me like about my story, like when I sort of went out of teaching to pursue more of my passion, that was also because at a certain point I asked myself the question sort of, hey, am I actually ready to die now? Like if I get a cancer diagnosis and it's over in a couple of weeks, am I good? And for me, the answer was, yeah, I wouldn't be like, I've had so much victory and growth in my life.
Wow.
And that I wouldn't feel defeated like I would have had for most of my life.
Wow.
But there would also still be a part that was like, damn, I didn't like fully live the way I wanted to do. So I was like, I'm sort of ready to die, but I'm not like, yeah, I'm ready to die. I did.
Yeah. I understand.
So then I was like, okay, I gotta be sort of not like, yeah, I'm ready to die. I have to be like, yes, I'm ready to die. I did this, So
it's so interesting. What you say really resonate with me, because I've had this vision and desire to. I would say it was more like calling, this idea of becoming a missionary, and I got to the point. Of course, I tried to ignore because my plan was to study get all the degrees, go back to Korea and become a professor, just like my father. But when the call came and it intensified, the more I tried to put away, the more it intensified to the point where I couldn't eat anymore. I was thinking, either I do this or I die, I think you might understand as an artist. Anyway, so I was thinking, if I would die tomorrow, okay, and if I would stand before God, what would I say, So God, you called me, but I haven't managed. Should I say that, or should I at least do one mission trip and say, hey, at least I've done one. You called me, and see, I at least have done one. I've tried, So yeah, so I thought, okay, what the heck, let's do one. Yeah. So I promised myself 10 countries, and I've done a lot more than that. So in that aspect, I'm happy, I'm ready, to die or whatever. I think it was like, for me, it's like biggest homework that I had to just tick the box. Yeah. So I understand what you mean. But I guess you want to live out fully as an artist, right?
Yeah, I think for me it wasn't like, it's not necessarily like, for me it has to do with an artist, but I think it's more deeper, more fundamental. For me, it's really just more about being free, just letting go of course not there will always be fear. We're all social animals. We always adapt to the group, but to just feel like, hey, I'm free. I'm free to live and enjoy my life the way I want to, and I'm actually doing that. Not just like a fantasy in my head, but I'm actually I'm just doing things how I feel is the right way to do things, regardless.
That's an amazing place to be, really. It is a hard thing, but amazing. It's so good to hear.
Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, the connection.
No.
Connection was a little, yeah.
No. I meant, are you at that point that you feel that you're just?
I thought, because I saw that the connection was a little bit.
No.
At which point?
The point in your life that you feel that, yeah, you're really just living life your way, not like in an egotistical manner, like, but like you're just.
No, I'm nowhere near to that, to be honest, because it is just now that I start looking into myself, and it is like, how can I say? Life has been so hard for me, traumatic. So I feel like I have been running, so my eyes closed, just running, without really knowing where I'm going, just doing my best, running away from many things, running away from my past memories and situations. And I have been doing my best, pushing, shoving, And it's just now that I realized, hey, stop and pause and relax. So this meeting with you, this conversation with you, maybe some other reasons why I said yes is because it has a symbolic meaning, isn't it? About portrait, right? So as I mentioned to you earlier, I have no problem standing in hundreds of people and say whatever. But if somebody would come near to me, look into me, along with all my wrinkles all together, right? Then they will find out. They'll find out about me, and then that somehow makes me feel kind of fear. Don't know why, Probably because I was hiding. Very interesting. How would you feel, Oscar, if I say, hey, let me draw a portrait of you now? How would you feel?
Yeah, I go for it. I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you can write a song for me on the harpsichord. You can
Oh.
portrait, write a composition.
Oh, wow. Interesting idea.
I love the harpsichord. It was like one of my mother had like a CD of a harpsichord when I was a
Mm.
kid. I listened to it.
There are many brilliant Dutch harpsichord players.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's one harpsichord. Like I live in an amazing place of Amsterdam. There is sort of I'm really close to where Rembrandt lived for a while, and
Oh, wow.
there's lots of artists and a lot of galleries and writers and actors and there,
They are really gifted people.
yeah, and
Yeah.
there's also an harpsichord builder like a couple hundred meters away from me.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, like if someone would want to portrait me, that would be cool. I would. Yeah, it was interesting for me to paint a self-portrait because I was doing so many portraits of other people to just like do a portrait of myself. Um, yeah, it was interesting.
And once I went to a meeting, and I offered to take a picture for someone. It was a man, young man. Oh, well, yeah, okay. You want me to take a picture of you? And he said yes. And guess what? He was like, thank you, right? He was like this. I was thinking, what's going on? He was a photograph, right? So it is his occupation and passion to take pictures of others. But he said, "Oh, never! No one offered it for me, And he was so happy. So I thought I might ask you that question to see your reaction, how you react, because
Yeah,
you draw a portrait for other people, right?
yeah,
Always.
yeah, yeah. It would be interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I would like if I do that one day. I would like it to be a live sitting so that I can actually watch the person painting. That would be interesting.
How do you usually do? Do you draw from picture or do you live?
Yeah, picture now.
Picture, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to draw from life more, but it's just, a lot of, people I know don't live in Holland, so it's just going to make it more complicated.
Yeah.
So like if people want to fly over, to sit for a portrait, that would be great. But now so what I do, that's what I'm doing with with these conversations is that like the main thing with the portrait is I want to capture somebody how I perceive them to be, and not just like their super, not just like their physical form, but also like their personality and their yeah, yes, I don't know, maybe their soul or their energy, and capture that in the portrait. So so first we have like conversations. So we have the relationship that people feel safe with me to show me some part of themselves, and that I feel that I know them a little bit better, and then I want to then I capture them in a photograph, because it's also really hard to sit still in one pose, then it becomes very posed automatically. So what I also do is I actually just film people, and then we have a conversation, and then at the moment when there's something happening, when there's a special moment that hey, I see something, then I can take that exact frame and then I paint that. So then it's actually not even a staged photograph.
Do you find that there is difference between if you draw from a picture of somebody unknown and you draw a picture of someone's picture, but you know the person. You had a conversation. Is there a difference?
I think so. For me, there is.
Can you tell me how? What is it different? Just curious.
Well, it's maybe it's because I know them and I know how I feel with them when I'm painting. I'm feeling. Am I feeling them? Am I feeling that? And when I paint, for example, I like to paint more people from tribes. And they often have very beautiful faces, but also beautiful energy. But then it's also like I don't know these people, so it's just a feeling I have that I'm projecting on them, which is always the case. I mean, you know, even if I would paint you, it's sort of like the feeling I get with you, but it's sort of like that's my feeling of how I experience you. Is that the real you? Is that the real feeling? Who knows? You know, it's
Who knows?
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I'm just feeling more that what's been very liberating for me in this last year and a half is that I'm also less involved. I don't. Before I always had this feeling that there was like my true self, my hidden true self, and like the person I was playing, and that has sort of disappeared, but not in the sense like now I'm my true authentic self, but more that I see that like reality is so big and complex and beautiful and unfathomable, and that the superficial self or the social self is actually also your actual self. And what this real self, there's always something deeper, and there's also a played part in that. So it's sort of like this whole concept of like your true self, I don't really feel that anymore that much.
Identity is a really complex thing. I do agree. And also it's always evolving. So I cannot guarantee you yesterday me would be just same as today's me, because today I learned something. For example, through this conversation, through you, and you added something into my life. So I must have changed, right? So I think it's a complex thing. We try to grasp and understand ourselves as such, but it's evolving.
Yeah, I'm just trying. What's really helping me is I'm just realizing how so many things are very paradoxical in nature. So also with the self, that we're never our true self, and at the same time we're always our true self.
Absolutely.
And that they're sort of both true at the same time. And
yes,
on one hand we're always changing, like every millisecond we learn, we age, we have new experience, we're always changing. At the same time, we're never changing. Like from the moment sort of consciousness came and like, hey, what's going on, really nothing really has changed. Sort of like, you know, like time and space are really just cognitive illusions. It's just always the present. And that present has never changed. So that's against this paradox that everything is always indeed changing and at the same time never. So that's also how I sort of see like the, you know, the authentic and the social self or the not true self. It's sort of like they're just it's more paradoxical. And
wow, you're a great thinker. I love that.
Well, I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. Thank you, Oscar.
I was yeah, Yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't really know what to expect, but that it is definitely exceeded what I didn't expect. So, yeah, thank you.
right. Thank you so much.